Hi guys, welcome. If you're new here, my name's Nikki. I'm a beekeeper and I make beekeeping videos. If that's something you like watching, hit the subscribe button. If you're one of my returning subscribers, thank you so much for coming back and listening to what I have to say. I really appreciate it. Today I'm going to do our week 8 inspection on our newest hive. I cannot believe it's been 2 months that we've had these girls already. I'm excited to see what they've done in this past week. It is a really hot day here in Ohio today. Yesterday was pretty hot, but all the days in the week prior leading up to today were really cool. It was running about 60s and 70s here during the day and even cooler temps at nighttime, which is a pretty cold week for Ohio in late June. So I don't actually anticipate looking in here and seeing a ton more frames drawn out, but we will find out. So I'll get my stuff on and we'll get started. All right, let's see how these girls are doing. Lots of bees up here. As I said in my intro, it's been a pretty chilly week overall, so I honestly don't expect to see tons and tons of progress in here as far as drawing these frames out, because the productivity of the bees definitely is dependent on weather. So they are definitely more active and more productive in warmer weather. And I remember being a new beekeeper getting my first package in the spring, and I was feeding them the sugar syrup, pollen patties, and we had kind of a spell of really chilly, rainy weather, and I thought that the bees are kind of shut up inside, and because I was feeding them, that I was going to go in and see a ton of progress and they would have had so much more drawn out. That just really isn't the case. When you get cold temps like that, their focus really shifts from building up the hive to kind of protecting the brood and making sure that the brood stays warm. And with this hive especially, there's a ton of brood in here. So that's one of the reasons I don't think we're going to go in today and see a ton of progress. But there are a lot of bees up here in this top box. Just check from my queen real quick. She's not usually on the inner cover. I think the one time you don't check is probably the time that she's going to be up there. Yeah, lots of bees. Still, I think I'm correct. I don't think there's a ton more drawn out up here, but we're going to find out. These outer frames are looking pretty empty. So I have an empty frame here. And I think we should do a guess on how many queen cups we're going to see in this hive today, because I think we found them on every inspection. So if you have a guess on how many queen cups you think we're going to see, put it down in the comment section below. I think we'll probably see, I would say 3 in here. Kind of seems to be about their average. Still empty on these outer frames. Come on, girl, don't move out of my way. So empty on the third frame. Actually, I'll just leave this girl in here. Lots and lots of sticky propolis in here. So here we have another empty frame, just a tiny bit of wax that they're just starting to draw here. So this side of this frame is empty, but it is heavy. So I have a frame with lots of syrup, really rich, beautiful color on it, and some capped brood in the center. And we have our first 2 queen cups on this frame. So I'll bring this up to show you. So we've got lots of syrup, some capped, some not. We've got capped brood there. And right there, we have a couple of queen cups. And I'm going to just check and see if there's anything in those. This is the same frame that they were on last week, and we just kind of built them back up. And they look to be empty. Yep, those queen cups are empty. So we will check back in, figure out what we're going to do with those after we get through our inspection. I don't see any eggs on that frame. Okay, this frame here, we've got, we have eggs in this frame. This was a brood frame that has, they have emerged, and we have lots of eggs in these cells. Tiny amount of capped brood left. Checking the bottom here because these girls are sneaky with these queen cups, and there's one here on the bottom corner that is also empty. So we're up to 3. And this side is the same. We have empty cells where they have eggs in them. Lots and lots of eggs. Capped brood, some larvae, and I don't see any queen cups on the bottom of this frame. So here is what this side of the frame looks like. Those cells with eggs and a little bit of capped brood. And this side, very, very similar. And let me see if I can show you. At the bottom corner there of this frame is another queen cup. And this frame, lots of capped brood here, some uncapped larvae, and a little bit of syrup around the edges, and my queen is on this frame here at the bottom. Just checking for queen cells. And this side, I've got lots and lots of eggs, capped brood, and a little bit of capped syrup. And no queen cups on the bottom of this frame. So I'm going to be careful with this frame because my queen is on it. See if we can. So my queen is up there in the corner. She still has her dots. She's still marked. They've got a little bit of that dot off of there. But this queen is beautiful and she's doing such a fantastic job. So we've got lots and lots of beautiful capped brood on this side, and a little bit of capped brood and some eggs on that side. And this next frame looks like they've made a tiny bit of progress on it. It's a little more drawn out than last week. Making all these queen cups. I definitely don't want this queen to swarm because she's doing great. The temperament of the bees is beautiful. She's laying pretty much in any space that they're giving her. So here I've got a frame of syrup, and right in the center I've got some larvae. So again, this queen is, like I said, laying in any space that she's got available in the hive. And they've started to barely draw out this other side. You can see there, just the light colored kind of yellow there, whitish yellow, that's where they're starting to draw comb on those cells. And on this side, we've got a frame of syrup, and right there in the center, we've got some larvae. And a couple of eggs. These last two frames look empty, but we'll just check them out. So really not a ton drawn out up here. I kind of expected that. This side is empty. Our last frame looks to be empty as well. This is I think the second inspection since we've put this upper box on that the queen's been up here. So, last frame is empty. So I'll put this box back together and we'll take a look down in the bottom one and see what's going on. They do have some empty frames down there. So let's see if they've gotten any of those drawn out. Lots and lots of bees down here. Hello, girls. I'll move you out of the way. Still empty here on our outer frame. I might move this one toward the center today, we shall see. I think our queen cup count is up to 3, so let's see how many they've got down here. They do have some drawn out on this side. So this side of our frame here, we have just the tiniest amount of comb. And on this side, we have a frame of syrup. It's a frame of syrup with some empty cells and some pollen. No eggs on this frame. So I'll bring it up for you to see. So here we've got syrup, tiny bit of pollen, and this side looks the same as last week, just a teeny amount of comb that's drawn out. My smoker there. This is my favorite hive tool. I don't know if I've ever said that, but this hive tool with the J hook makes it really easy to manipulate the frames when your propolis is this sticky. So this frame, it looks the same as last week, just a tiny, tiny amount of comb on it. And the other side is empty. Just that little amount of comb there, and that side is empty. This next frame has a lot of bees on it. Heavy frame, and I have a frame of capped brood, lots and lots of pollen, some larvae, beautiful. And on this side I've got a frame of capped brood, a little bit of syrup on the corners, and some larvae and some pollen. Checking the bottom here for any queen cups that they're hiding down on the bottom. I don't see any. So there's the side. Really heavy frame. And that is this side here. Just get you kind of a better, see if I could get a better look of all the pollen that's in this frame. So again, I did take their pollen patties off weeks ago and not had any issues taking that off. They're storing lots and lots of it. Give them a little bit more smoke. So I've got a frame of some capped brood, lots of eggs, some larvae, and a tiny amount of syrup here at the top, and a frame on the other side of capped brood. It's a really pretty frame. So there is our capped brood, eggs, larvae. And on this side, very similar, but mostly capped brood. So that's a pretty good amount of eggs up here on the top part of this frame. It's a very hot day today. I am sweaty under here. Kind of got some sweat dripping down into my eyes. And we've got a frame of larvae and some eggs, and another frame of larvae and eggs. I don't see any queen cups on this one. I think they're mostly building those queen cups up in that top deep. So here we've got a frame of eggs and larvae, and same on the back side. We've got another frame with lots of eggs in it. Tiny amount of capped brood. So she is really filling these cells up as soon as these bees are emerging. So many eggs. And this side I have the same eggs, small amount of capped brood, See any queen cups? So that's this side. Here's that side. A little bit of syrup in here. Sticky. So we have a frame here with, see any eggs? These are empty cells. Doesn't look like any new eggs in them yet, but some capped brood. I think we probably recently had some bees come out of this frame. And this side is a frame of capped brood. So that's what we have here, the capped brood in the center, and capped brood here. I don't see any eggs yet. Let's check out our last two frames. Lots of bees on these frames, so there's going to be a little something on here. Okay, so tiny amount of comb drawn on this side, and this side is empty. I'll show you there. Just a tiny amount of comb drawn out. I think that was completely empty last week. And let's check out our last frame. In our last frame, we have some empty cells, and it looks like syrup here in the center. Checking it out, they did have a queen cup. With some new comb there. So this side is empty. Okay, girls. And this side, they have drawn out a little bit more. There's some new comb on there, and they got some syrup in there. No eggs in this frame. This is probably going to end up being a frame of syrup, as it is the outermost frame, and can look at all of that propolis there on this frame. Lots and lots of propolis. So I am going to put this box back together, and then I'm going to go up into that second and take care of those queen cups, and then we will talk about this inspection. Again, it's pretty uneventful. Okay guys, that was our week 8 inspection on this hive completed. Bees are still doing really well. I was correct in my assumption. They have not drawn out a lot of that second box. They did get a little bit more drawn out in the bottom. We are going to have some really hot weather continuing, so hopefully next week they will have made more progress. Still taking a lot of sugar syrup. I did get a question recently about how long I'm going to continue to feed them the sugar syrup, and I really don't have an endpoint to that. So I will make that determination once they finish drawing out this second box. and depending on where we are as far as nectar flow goes, I may continue to give them sugar syrup even with the super on. This is their first year. I'm not going to take any honey from them this year. Most of the time you're not going to get any honey from a new hive, or even if you do, it's a little bit. So as the bees are continuing to build their stores, it is okay to continue to give the bees the sugar syrup that they can store in the super. It's just not something that you want to extract yourself. So I don't have a definite end date on the sugar syrup. I'll make that decision as the hive continues to progress. This queen still doing fantastic. Lots of eggs in here, lots of brood in here. She is doing incredibly well, and not only is she laying a ton, but the temperament of the bees is really, really nice. They're very calm. They're very gentle. I have no issues getting through hive inspections. They had 1 week where they were a little bit testy and I took a couple stings, but I think that was weather related and the time of day that I was out there. So overall, I'm really, really happy with their progress. Did find 3 queen cups this inspection, and that seems to be on par with how many they're making week to week. So we'll continue to watch those. If you have any questions about this hive or beekeeping in general, please leave them down in the comment section below. If you found this video helpful, give it a like. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.